Efo never really acted like a freshman. He really acted like he knew what he was doing. And some kids mature a little bit earlier, some kids mature a little bit later. It just depends on the individual, and we always do it on an individual basis. But those guys, that young group of Troy and Terrence and Efo have done a great job for being freshmen and redshirt freshmen.
USC's defense has improved in athletic defensive front. What do you see from that game?
I just think they've got more experience in that system, but we played against all those guys before. We played against Kennard, we played against Deshaun Harris, we played against Tupou and all those other guys. I just think it's the second year under Monty Kiffin, who's one of the best defensive coordinators, not only in college football, but in the NFL. And they got a better understanding of what's going on, and they got a better understanding of how they want to approach teams, how they want to attack teams. But it is an athletic front. It was an athletic front last year. I just think they got more experience now.
Been pretty salty against the run. Have they faced anybody that has your style of running attack?
I don't, not totally, but they've done a good job. They've chased people out of it. You know, Notre Dame just resorted to trying to throw the ball at them because they couldn't run the ball on them, and it was a real close game. You know, and I think they did a good job against Stanford. You know, I think the score of that game was a little skewed because it was triple overtime, but you know that was a pretty low scoring affair going into that fourth quarter. So they've done a good job against everybody they've played. They're one of the top defenses in this conference.
As DeAnthony's position coach, did you talk to him at all this week about playing USC and everything that's going to go into that with his history of having committed there, a long-time commit there, and then coming back?
Not really. I mean, we talk about eliminating outside distractions, and that has no bearing on the game itself. You know, it's him getting lined up, being in the right spots, and playing against, you know, a really good secondary and some really good linebackers. But we didn't spend much time talking about that. We used to go to school there. I mean, a lot of our kids have been recruited by a lot of different schools that we played against, but I don't think that's a factor in going into this game.
You sort of let him do all the rounds of the media this weekend. He thought that maybe that wasn't a good idea? Or? No?
No. I'm media friendly. Not as media friendly as Lane Kiffin.
According to Lane Kiffin.
According to Lane, which I agree with him. Lane's probably better in the media, but I'm $10,000 better with the officials than he is. So. But I mean, our kids, it's part of your experience going to college. You know, we make sure Dave sits down and visits with those guys just at the beginning to kind of. Some kids have never been interviewed before, just so they kind of understand that. But I mean, I think he's a great kid. He's a great spokesman. And, you know, he's a real genuine person. So.
You're still preparing, I assume, for Robert Woods to play?
Yeah, different? And if he doesn't play, you know, then he's really banged up. You know, I know Lane, and I know Lane's not going to put a guy out there if it's going to hurt an individual player, and it's no different than us not putting the Michael out there for a couple of weeks or Darren. But we're still preparing for him because the kid's an unbelievable competitor and a talent. But if he can't play, it won't because he doesn't want to play. You know, that kid's a warrior. But it happened. Injuries happen. We've been down a few guys as the season's going along. And if they're down them, it's not like they don't have other players. Bryce Butler's a really good football player. Carswell's a really good football player. Marquise Lee's a really good football player. So you know, the cupboard's not bare if they don't have Robert. But we're still anticipating that he'll play against us.
We have any of the honorary captains talked to the team before?
No, I don't even know who are the honorary captains.
Dixon.
Ruben Jones, and Lavelle.
Lavelle Edwards?
Derek Lavelle.
No, I don't even know when they come in. When that's, I think, done through the Duck Athletic Fund. I think Matt Harper, somebody told me Harper was an honorary captain earlier in the year. But we have a set schedule on what we do. And it's, you know, we're pretty conscious of we do the same things. Our Friday nights are the same things. And I think our guys would think something's a little bit different. No, we've had some guys. Last week we were real fortunate when we played down at Stanford. Adam Schneider came by just to say hello. Justin Peele came by to say hello. Walter Crawford came by to say hello. When we were in Washington, Walter Thurman came by and Jonathan Stewart came by. But, our meetings are real short, you know, and we get right to the point and we move on. So we don't bring in any guest speakers during the season to talk to our guys. A lot of stuff in the off season, but not during the season.
Thanks, Chip.
Okay, thanks, Lewis.